Okay, freaks, let's cut this yard. First things first, we're going to walk up here and we're going to get rid of this guttering. We don't want to run into it, smash it with our feet or mower. I'm going to go ahead and just stack that one up right there, unless it falls over. Take this thing off. We'll put it up into the rocks because I'm not going to be cutting the rocks. You'll notice that this is tall right along here. The last few times I've cut, they've told me don't cut it about a foot out along there. They don't want it trimmed because they had some water leaking inside the basement. Until they get that problem solved, they were hoping that the extra growth would prevent a little bit of the moisture from getting in. But we'll see. This time, I think I might go ahead and just trim it back a little bit more. Okay, freaks. We're going to start right here on the boulevard. You'll notice I'm standing in the grass because my truck is in the street. So I am reaching across and I can't see the edge, the groove, as good as I could if I were standing in the street. So for most of you, this is the harder way to trim. And it is for me too, but I'm pretty good at it, except down there where I ran into that thick crabgrass. And I mean the super thick stuff that it takes a couple whacks at. And you'll run into that too. Eventually you will have some yards with some funky patches that just are that super tough stuff. Now one of the things that I do on some yards and some areas of yards, I go back along and I hit it with a flat trim just to make sure nothing will stick out over the groove that I just made. It doesn't always have to be done, but in an area like this where I can't get my mower all the way to the edge because it would go off the curb, then I prefer to do it like that. And this is how I normally trim while I'm on the sidewalk, and I can see the groove pretty good, and I can go faster and smoother like that. But as you can see, I can do it both ways. But when I have an option to stand on the sidewalk, I always will. Crab walking backwards. Oh, there was another little piece of that super thick, funky crabgrass. Took a couple extra little swipes. I think I have some more right up here. You'll see it sticking out. There you go. Had to finish that little piece off. Same thing here. I'm standing on the sidewalk, but now keep in mind when I turn around to come back down the other side, I'm actually discharging everything towards the house. So you have to be aware of that because you could break out a window or hit the house with a rock. You have to know your yard. There has to be nothing in the groove. Now, in this area, I chose to do the flat edge along it too, just because I would hate for someone to look right at the front of the house and see something sticking out over the sidewalk. So while I trim this whole yard up, I'm going to go ahead and just talk. This isn't going to be a tutorial video. I'm going to take this opportunity to just kind of share some thoughts with you and my mindset while cutting a lawn like this. Notice the truck in the driveway. That is not the homeowner's truck. That's a neighbor that parks there because nobody lives in this house, so they can just park there, and it helps the homeowner out, makes it look like there's some action going on. And like I said, with the basement and not trimming along there, well, the yard is also an every other week yard. Now, it didn't start as that. This yard used to be a weekly yard, but when the people had their other house built and they moved, they had this one for sale, and I continued to do it every week. But after so long of it not selling, a couple years, they decided to just kind of sit on the house, I guess. They're not going to take anything less. I guess they took it off the market. So after like June, the spring rush, where you have to cut yards every week or you're in big trouble, I go down to every other week. So you'll notice that's why the lawn is pretty tall. Now, keeping all that in mind, you still want to do a good job on the lawn itself, just because the house is not lived in, or you could probably get away with cutting some corners and not like right there. You might not have to trim behind the garage, but I'm going to do it every time, and that's just the way I am. And people will notice it, and you should be doing it like for yourself. You don't have to feel like you're being videoed and watched the whole time. But if you're watching yourself the whole time and holding yourself to a certain standard, it doesn't bother you to just do everything, every time, and a good job. And it just becomes part of your mindset. You're accepting of what you're doing. You're not feeling like this is too labored or, oh man, I should just not even do that. No, it just becomes second nature, and you just go along, do your thing, and you're content with that. And it goes a long way, a peace of mind, and it makes it a lot easier. And it doesn't have to be perfect here, but I still do it. Like right along here, I'm just going to go ahead and flat edge, because that is all rock that is overgrown since there's no traffic going to that garage. If I would have put an edge on that, I'd have been shooting rocks everywhere. But think of that. That used to be all rock where I'm standing right now. But it's over 2 years. And they didn't want it sprayed or anything. It turned into yard. It's like grass. Freaky, huh? So those bushes I'm trimming under right there, they're called Rose of Sharon, and they've grown up over top of the neighbor's privacy fence. And so I'm going to be cutting them back eventually in 2015. And I will do it before they start budding out and having like their little oil and stuff in them, so that I don't catch any little itchy scratchies, because sometimes you get up in that stuff, and whether you think it's a common little bush or shrub, it could make you itch, even if you wear a long sleeve shirt or whatever. It's probably best to do some of that stuff at first before you find out what you're allergic to, before it really starts producing its little oils and little milky stuff in it that can get you, and that's what will get you. So there I'm just flat edging, and then I go ahead and throw a little edge right there. And this yard right here, I'm doing it in this video with just a regular push mower. And I did that to show you guys that it can be done with just a push mower, and to let you know that I'm not afraid to do stuff like that, even to this day. I did it for the video because I wanted to make it a point to show you one of the yards that I always do with the 36 inch, which you've seen in a couple of videos where I got rained out on this yard. And right now I'm going to do it the hard way. Is there an easier way? Absolutely. Can you use a zero turn on it? Oh, you can use a zero turn on this yard. You might not want to go off that little edge right there. You just scalp it. But yeah, you can use a zero turn or a big mower. But this right here is just to show you that you can go out, find a yard. It doesn't have to be the best yard, but you can cut it with a regular mower, make a profit, and have been relaxed the whole time. So what do I mean by relaxed? Well, it is a state of mind that you put yourself in. And you put yourself in it by not allowing someone else to get you out of that state or put you into a different one. And you're getting in it because you refuse to think of a negative option to every little thing that you're going through right then. Like, I know that a zero turn could get this thing done so much quicker, I do have a walk behind, and the 36 inch could get through this so much easier. But you don't focus on that. What you do focus on is, hey, I'm here, I'm going to cut this yard, I got some tunes in my ears, there's no one hovering over me telling me you need to do this right now, you got to get it done, and there's a quota. You make your own quota. You put your own pressure. Look at that, I reached down and picked up a straggler. You're not going to do that if someone else is pressuring you, or you have pressured yourself into being in a rush. There's no sense in having a rat race in your life if you're in charge of your own life. So trying to keep yourself in that state of mind is very beneficial to your overall well-being, because we're going to be out here working in hot times. We're going to have hard work. We're going to have a lot of difficult days. Difficulties are going to arise. Like, our mower might not be working that good. So if you're battling with a piece of equipment that's not working right in a tall yard, the last thing you want to be doing is thinking about that zero turn that you don't have, or that guy down the street that just did 2 yards to your 1. You're not going to have a healthy life and a positive mindset, or bend over and pick up something like that, if you are thinking I should already be in the backyard, and this yard should be almost done. It is what it is. You have the mower that's in your hand, the trimmer, the equipment you have, and this is the yard. It's tall, but you're going to be okay. You're going to make some money. You're in profit range here, and it's the task at hand. Now, I do think about my business, and we should all think about our future and growth of anything like we want to accomplish, but I don't find it beneficial to my well-being to focus on my company's growth or things I want like that while working hard, like in the middle of a rough day. I tend to let my mind go in different directions, and I think of that stuff in the evenings and when I get on YouTube or I sit around and pen to paper, and there are plenty of other times to focus on that. Right now is a time for me to try and relax while working. Relaxing while working is easier said than done. It takes time, and there are days that my mind will wander off into those areas, so I prefer to keep them to a minimum. And I have found success, and I have found successful ways to just go through my day and focus on the task at hand without thinking too far into the future. That's why I've gotten over so many of the problems in my life that come my way. And you can see if you've been following this channel, I have problems that do come my way that they're not my doing. I didn't cause that problem, but I still have to deal with it or even straighten it out, solve the problem. And I just don't want to add any more stress to my life, and I want to be happy. So you have to focus on things in your life that do make you happy, especially when you're working hard. It's the way I find it, and if you can try that, different techniques, I do believe it will give you a better quality of life. I have talked to so many of you that have came into the lawn care industry in the last couple of years out of what you would call necessity, starting over. And I would like to say, don't think of it as starting over, think of it as starting new. You talk to me and I hear your concerns. You feel like, okay, I am starting new, but I hate the fact that I'm this age and I'm starting over now and this is my best option. Don't focus on that. That's just like what I was talking about when I was in the front yard there. You don't want to think that, oh man, this is my best option I have right now at my age. What's my life become? No, you don't worry about that. You don't worry about that like you're not worrying about the guy down the street that just did 2 yards to your 1. You're thinking, this is an option. Thank goodness I have it. This is something I can do. This is a positive thing here. You're moving forward by starting new. And there's nothing wrong with starting new at any age, under any circumstance, whether it was something that you did that was wrong and it caused you to start new. And it is a new beginning. So I would say always just focus on that this is the beginning. Your business will grow, you will grow, you're going to develop as a team, you and the business. Your mind, your whole self-thought process, it's all growing, it's all starting, it's the beginning. And it will get better. There's no doubt about it. Your lawn business, your future, everything about you will get better as long as you keep moving forward. And you've already started that by starting new, beginning. Starting new should be an exciting thing in your life. When you look ahead, don't look at like how far you have to go. Just look at all the endless opportunities that are there. The potential is unlimited to grow and expand and better yourself in every direction. There's just so much ahead of you. What's behind you, we're not even looking at that anymore. We'll remember that. Those are memories we're going to share in our mind with ourselves. We're not going to focus on that. Look ahead at all of the opportunities. One thing leads to another. And if you position yourself to succeed and you're moving ahead and you look off to the sides, you want to focus on the road ahead, but you want to be aware of what's going past you and what you're going past along the way, and enjoy and embrace those moments. You will find more opportunities. You can go down one road and detour yourself down another one, and it turned out to be better. You can just branch out. That's the thing. It doesn't make sense if you looked at it from on a map. You go, well, if you went down that road, you're not on the same path. Well, sometimes those roads connect back up together. So you actually did stay on the same path. Maybe you took a shortcut, or you took a little long cut around something, and in the end you have both experiences, and sometimes maybe both businesses, or a better understanding of how the world works. Why was I there cutting that lawn that night? Well, I was there because I was supposed to be there. And I'm not saying it was fate or, pre-planned and I was destined to be there no matter what. You can prepare for the future, but you can't predict the future. I was there because of all my life experiences and journeys led me to that point. So if you're starting new right now, you're supposed to be starting new. You're going down a new path, and it's going to lead you somewhere, and you're going to be leading yourself somewhere. Just don't be upset along the way when you have to take a little detour or the long way around, because you're going to end up where you're supposed to. And it's not a bad place. If you focus on the good that's around you at all times, like I said, keep your eyes open and look for opportunities, look for the good, and you will be surrounded by good. Never focus on the negative, and it won't stick with you. When you go to a corner and you turn it, you're going to be confronted by both the positive and the negative energy. You know which way you're going to focus, and you know which you're going to gravitate towards. Other people, and that's just in their nature, they haven't made it to the level that you've made it yet. They are going to turn the corner, see the negative, the bad, and they're going to focus on it, confront it, and face it head on. They're going to get trapped in the quicksand, and you're not going to move forward when you are in quicksand. You're trying to get yourself unstuck, and people can spend a lifetime stuck in that quicksand of negative energy. We're not trying to brainwash ourselves. We know we're going to hit some bumps in the road. What we're doing is we're not focusing on those bumps. We know we'll get through them. We're going to keep going forward, and we're focusing on the good things. This is a long journey we're on. There's going to be different times that you have to do different things. So when you set goals and you have aspirations, there's going to be a time to sprint, time to jog, and time to just walk. So when you see a short-term goal up ahead, you want to get there real quick and you take off sprinting, that was the perfect time to go for a little sprint. When you feel like you're a little bit behind, you want to make up for some lost time, go ahead and have a little jog. But when you're walking, that is when you will be observant and aware of your surroundings. Those can be the most peaceful times, and when you look back in your life, those are going to be the times you will look back on. They will be enjoyable moments. We don't look back on past failures and have regrets. We want to look back on our good times. They will happen when you're walking. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and stop talking. And you can watch me just finish off this yard. I didn't have any problems. Everything was okay. And I'm still here right now. And I will be back to talk to you in the future because I love you freaks. And this is part of my journey.